Welcome back, everybody. Well, today let's dig a hole over here for a septic tank. They're going to deliver it Monday morning, so we got to get prepared for that. And then in the coming week here or so, we'll be forming up for a concrete slab, which will make up the porch that'll wrap around 3 sides of the house. So in preparation for that, we'll extend the drain line straight out, and then we will enter into the septic tank back here on this side. And I didn't want any connections in my water lines underneath the concrete, so I ran conduit for all my water lines, and basically they go to their destination, stub up, it'll loop, and it'll go back down under the concrete. So nothing will be connected under the slab. So I've got conduit stubbed up here. We'll extend that conduit on out as well beyond the porch, and then it'll come over and tie into my water line. If I ever were to have a problem, this conduit will be extended out past the concrete, so I could dig it up out here essentially and pull that main line out from the house inside if I needed to. So that's the reason I've got to extend this on out past the concrete, so we're not cutting up concrete at any time in the future. We've already got a septic system in place, so the fill lines are out here, and there's a tank over there by that building that catches that building. So basically the waste goes there, then gray water comes here and runs straight on down to my fill lines. But when we did that, we went ahead and put a Y in here so we could catch the house over here. So when I dug my drain lines for the house, basically I started from here. So I figured fall from here back to the septic tank, from the septic tank all the way through the house to the furthest point, which was back in the garage, so we could keep, you know, the right kind of fall all the way out. So I've already shot the elevation and I should be good. But before I start digging, I'm going to go ahead and get a reading off of where my pipe stubs out under the house, and then we'll figure out how deep that septic tank needs to be. And then I want to ensure once we get it in place, then I'll have enough fall from the septic tank back down here to this line. Let's hope I calculated right the first time. All right, I shot all my elevations from a pipe out to the tank, and then from the tanks down to my line that ties into my fill lines. But my measurement rod that I've got in my transit's only 8 feet. So when I dig this hole for the tank, it's going to be pretty deep, because I wanted it, for one, I want it to be in the ground good. That way, driving over it, you wouldn't be driving over that lid. And two, when I wanted my drain lines to come through the house, I wanted them to be below my footers. So that's the reason I'm a little bit deeper. But instead of using the transit rod, what I'm going to do is I will reference the bottom of my pipe with the 2x4, and then I've got to come back and add 4 inches of fall to the tank. And then that tank is 55 inches from the bottom up to the bottom of the inlet side. So what I'll do, I'll get my line here level with the bottom of my pipe, I'll add 4 inches of fall, and then I'll add 55 inches. That way when we get to the bottom of the hole, we'll have something we can hold on to versus trying to lean over the hole and hold that 8-foot rod. So let's see if that works. Hopefully my math's right. All right, we're on the money there, and then let's do a little math. All right, so I will add 4 inches, which would be fall from my pipe to my tank. And then from the bottom of that, we will add 55 inches. So basically I need to come out 59 inches and then move my receiver up to that. And that should tell me exactly where the bottom of my hole should be. Perfect timing, the battery went dead. beauty of these little mini excavators with this boom that tilts when you're trying to dig a halfway square hole is you can swing this boom. So I can bring my machine over here and I can sort of work straight down that wall and try to keep my hole halfway square, but it works pretty good. We should be getting pretty close to elevation down there, so I'm gonna go ahead and check it. Hopefully I can get me a spot back here on grade, and then I can sort of reference off of it and finish digging the hole. All right, another 6 or 8 inches and we should be getting close. All right, it's a little high starting about right here, so let's see if we can get that cut out and get out of this hole before it caves in on us. I don't know if you can see that, but we're good there. And we're good there. Well, for safe measures, I figured I better rope it off since it'll be Monday before the tank comes, so hopefully it'll keep somebody from walking off in it. We'll see you Monday. Well, mission accomplished. I didn't have to have him pull it back out, and I didn't have to do no shuffling of dirt in the bottom of the hole. Tank sitting in there level. Everything worked out good. When I took a gander here at my inlet coming into my tank, and then I looked back here to my outlet coming from the house, I said, oh gosh, I've miscalculated, because that looks higher. But what I did when I dug this ditch, I just made sure I cleared myself, and so it's down below it probably 3 inches when you get down into the trench, so it looked like it made that hole look higher. So like I say, I about had a stroke, but I shot it and I've got the correct amount of fall that we calculated. But I'll come back and throw a few rock in the bottom of this, and we'll build it right up to the grade we need, and then we'll be good to go. One thing I will say is I dug this hole plenty big enough. Now, I'm too big out here on this end, but I had a little corner break off over here, so I just squared it up. But I will tell you, I've put a few of these in the past, not many, but I had a guy put a tank in for me one time, and he dug the hole too small, and so his hole stopped about right here, and he didn't have the bottom of it, well, it wasn't in good shape, so didn't have much room to move that tank around. We had to pick the tank back up and get in there and do some work. So I wanted a big enough area to where I could get the bottom of that ready, so everything would be sitting on the ground nice and flat. And hey, I've got a backfill around this thing anyway, so this shouldn't have been this big. It should have probably been there. But like I say, this corner broke off the other day, so I just dug it on back and squared it up. But that way you got room. You'll always have some crumbs around the edge, and you got room to get in there and actually fix you a nice flat spot for your tank to set. But we're in good shape. I am going to go ahead and start throwing some dirt around the bottom of this, and I'm gonna get some dirt on the top. We're supposed to get a lot of rain this afternoon, and I've never seen one float up, but I've heard horror stories of these things actually floating up out of the ground. So you wouldn't think that would happen, but enough water will move mountains. So I'm gonna throw a bunch of dirt around it, and it'll rain on it, and it'll settle that dirt down, and then we'll come and slowly fill it up. But I'm gonna get it packed in here and get some dirt on top. I'll leave access to my outlet and my inlet, and I'll leave the lids uncovered as well. That way when the inspector comes to look at it, he'll be able to see the whole tank. But anyway, let's throw some dirt around this baby. Well, just in time, here comes the rain, but I got dirt spread all the way around it, and then I've got some across the middle here, and which obviously I've got my lids still where you can access those, and then my inlet and my outlet, which I've got to dig the trench from here down to where it ties into my fill lines down there. So we got her in the ground. Let's hope she don't float out. Next up will be going ahead and tying it into the house. And like I just said, we'll run it down, tie it into our fill lines. We'll get our inspector out here, let him check it out, and we'll get it all covered up. And that way this will have time to settle over the summer before hopefully we'll be ready this fall to dress all this up and get some grass sowed. Well, I was going to add some more to this video, but with this rain coming, I'd say I'm going to be delayed for a few days. So I'll go ahead and finish this one up. But if you watch this one, I appreciate it. And we'll see you next time. We'll try to get all this stuff tied together.